I'm Amy Jo Martin. Welcome to the Why Not Now show. You know that thing you've been thinking about doing? Yeah, that one. Why not now? Have you ever actually taken the time to ask yourself, what's stopping me? Let's talk it through. This is your chance to give that idea the attention it deserves and take action. Each episode, I have a chat with a fascinating person, from entrepreneurs to athletes, celebrities, my parents, rocket scientists, and all walks of life. We talk through a critical time when they've asked themselves, why not now? We dissect that day or even that moment, step by step. Hello, everybody. A little bit of a different format today. We just celebrated our 75th episode last week, and I got to thinking, what have I learned? What have we learned? We've now heard from all of these different renegades, these progressive thinkers, some of the most successful people out there. And what have I learned? It's become really clear that there are some trends, some things that most of these people that we've heard from do. The things that they do to get from idea to action, from dreaming to doing, have started to surface, and I've noticed trends and similar tactics in way they navigate that bridge. So I'm going to recap them for you, and you can apply them to your own why not now ideas. I am using these on a daily basis now, and they're helpful. They're helpful for little tiny ideas and things. They're helpful for big, huge shifts, personally and professionally. So there are 5 of them, and I'm going to share them with you today. I've created a cheat sheet of these 5 rules. So if you want to download the list of the 5 Renegade Rules, all you have to do is go sign up for my newsletter. Go to amyjomartin.com. On the homepage there, you'll see it says Connect with Me. Once you sign up, I'll email you back with this downloadable cheat sheet of the 5 Renegade Rules that you can use as you navigate between idea to action throughout your day. We tackle the most taboo topics on the Why Not Now show. Oftentimes, you're hearing guests share things they've never shared before. In the spirit of things we don't typically talk about, you should know that the Why Not Now show is supported by Poo-Pourri. Yep, the original before you go toilet spray. It's magic. My friends at Poo-Pourri have literally taken the smell out of you know what. This pure blend of essential oils stops bathroom odor before it begins. Visit poopourri.com, and Why Not Now listeners get 20% off with code Why Not Now. That's all one word. Also, you can now get Poo-Pourri at Target. Before we dive into these 5 Renegade Rules, I want to thank you. If you've been along for the ride since day 1, episode 1 with Mark Cuban, thank you so much. If you've just joined and you're a new listener, welcome. And we're excited to take you along for the rest of the ride. And also, I want your feedback. I'd be so grateful if you could go to amyjomartin.com/survey and answer a few quick questions. We want to make this show as effective and useful as possible for you. So amyjomartin.com/survey will be huge for us to get your input, your thoughts. This can also include your own Why Not Now ideas. We have a question in there asking you if you've had one and if you'd be willing to come on the show and if you'd share your Why Not Now idea. So check out the survey. It's really quick and painless, and it's a huge help to me, so thank you. And we're going to be trying some new things around here with the format of the show, but we promise we won't change it up too much. We're going to have a couple of episodes where I talk through a Why Not Now idea live with a listener who's getting ready to start taking action on this idea of theirs. And so we will go through the process and start to apply all the things that we've been learning from the renegades that we've talked to on the show in the past. So you can expect that. Also, we're launching some new classes, a Renegade School. So if you want information on that front, just head over to amyjomartin.com and sign up for the newsletter, because that will be the first place that I announce and offer up these different classes. And lastly, as always, if you have your own Why Not Now idea that you've navigated and you want to share it with me, then please email whynotnow@amyjomartin.com. So here we go. If you take the last 75 episodes and you boil down and distill the most tangible, tactical things that I've learned from renegades, from the billionaires, from the rock stars, the A-list celebrities, the entrepreneurs, the Olympians, you name it, here they are. The first renegade rule, and the thing that most people do to get from idea to action, is they ask themselves, what's the worst thing that could happen? But they don't necessarily start with that question. First, they ask themselves, what if this doesn't work? And they answer the question. And then they say, then what? And then they answer that question. And then again say, then what? And what happens when we go through this process from the green lighting of the idea all the way to the worst possible thing that could happen is that we realize our idea is probably safe enough to try, because the amount of time it takes from getting started and push and go to the worst possible thing is longer than we think. And there are opportunities along the way to make shifts, to make adjustments in that path to where you can kind of take out some insurance. There's a bit of a safety net or opportunity to shift course. So going through that process also allows us to put ourselves in the driver's seat, and we become more logical about the fear that's involved. So instead of thinking of the worst thing right out of the gate when we go to do this idea, we start to think logically about, okay, well, what if this doesn't work? Then what? Then what? And it just allows us to be in more control and have a calculated kind of risk. A great example of someone going through this process and using this as a strategy is Eric Wall. He was episode 29. And Eric had gone through a series of unfortunate situations with his career, and he found himself having to start from scratch. He had a wife and a few kids, and he didn't know what he was going to do. Eventually, he started to realize he really enjoyed painting and sharing his story. And then he decided, after speaking with his wife, they wanted to actually make a go of this and see if this could become his full-time career. So they started to think this through, and they thought, if we put all of our attention and energy into Eric going out and sharing his story and painting at the same time while he's sharing his story, then what if it doesn't work? And they answered that question, and they went all the way through to the worst possible thing. And the worst possible thing was that they financially couldn't support themselves and their own family, and that they would need to move in to Eric's parents' place. So they went to Eric's parents and said, hey, we have this idea that we want to take action on, but we know that if it doesn't work, eventually we would need to move in with you. And so we wanted to just have some insurance and know that if the worst case scenario happened, would that be possible? And of course they said, yes, you're welcome, and give it a go. Now Eric is one of the top performing speakers on the corporate circuit, and he's performing in places even like the Cowboys Stadium, telling his story and painting and doing this amazing graffiti style art on stage live. But they said they never would have had the guts to do it if they hadn't gone to his parents and asked them, would you be able to kind of cover us if the worst case scenario does happen? So think about your own why not now idea and ask yourself, what if it doesn't work? And answer that question. And then say, then what? Then what? It's amazing what happens when we go through this process. Something that was interesting that Simon Sinek said on this podcast was that oftentimes the worst thing that's going to happen is maybe a little bit of a dent to our ego, and that's it. So it's usually safe enough to try. Renegade rule number 2, and this is my favorite one. It's the easiest to do, and it's the quickest. Renegades don't give themselves an out. They put some sort of mechanism in place that holds them accountable, something that forces them to follow through. This is an instant way for us to push ourselves over the starting line and take that first step. So let's say your idea is just to have a critical conversation with someone that you've been putting off for a really long time. Schedule the meeting. Let the person know you'd like to have a conversation with them. That's all you have to do. It's like immediately green-lighting your idea. Let's say it is to finally go on a certain trip that you know you've been thinking about for years, or that you've been saying you were going to do, but you can't quite find the right time or the right situation. Book the trip and don't give yourself an out. As soon as it becomes formal and final on your calendar, and you can even get travel insurance, so you can get out of it if you absolutely have to. But there's something that happens psychologically when we get started and that momentum starts going in one direction. I interviewed Tony Robbins on this show, and he shared a quote. He said, "If you want to take the island, you burn your boats. You block off all your options." And it's so helpful because it's instant momentum. Oftentimes, social media is a great tool to do just this. Let's say you want to go on a health kick for 30 days, or you have a certain goal, health goal. If you go on Facebook or Instagram or wherever your social media platform of choices and say, I'm going to do XYZ, you're instantly going to feel that pressure in a good way to follow through. So if you intentionally kind of put your own back against the wall because you know you have to be accountable, it serves as motivation too, as a springboard to move things forward. This is the easiest step that you could do today to greenlight your own idea. And I use this all day, every day, with little things and big things, but burn your boats. And it becomes a term around my household of, okay, let's do it. We're doing it. We're burning our boats. And that very first step will force you to follow through. So if you have a specific idea that you're ready to get started on and you want to do this right now, let me know on social media. You can tag me, you can tweet me, tag me on Instagram, wherever you like to be on social. You can declare what you're about to do, and I will help hold you accountable. I'm at Amy Jo Martin on all of the social media platforms. Burn your boats. Renegade rule number 3. Renegades leverage adversity. So this is not about making lemonade out of lemons. This isn't just a positive attitude type of strategy, although that's important and does help. Renegades truly leverage adversity and use it to their advantage. In most cases, when I'm interviewing people on the show, they tell me about something that happened that went wrong or didn't go as expected, that they used as a way to build momentum forward. Something usually in the form of their health, finances, a relationship, or their career, their job. If something's not going right in one of those areas, then usually if you dig down, you're going to find a why not now idea. So this is another way, if you don't have a why not now idea and you've been looking for one, then start there. Start with any adversity in your life, and you can probably identify what that why not now idea could be. Leveraging adversity is all about using that adversity as a springboard, kind of moving it forward. People who have used this on the show, Mark Cuban, He had lost his job. He said he was broke as a joke, and he decided, why not try to do his own thing? And that's when he got his entrepreneurial start. Arianna Huffington, she had fainted at her desk from exhaustion and realized something has to change. And it ended up leading her down a path with a complete pivot of her career. Kara Golden, she was addicted to Diet Coke and realized that the artificial sweeteners were totally messing with her system, and that's when she created Hint, which became her company. In a lot of cases, why not now ideas come from, and they're sparked from, something that's gone wrong. So ask yourself, what asset is currently being disguised as adversity in your life that you can leverage to move forward? Okay, Renegade rule number 4. Renegades are hyper-aware of their mental, physical, and emotional states. And they use this awareness as data and to inform their strategy and the direction that they're headed. So what I mean by mental, physical, and emotional awareness, mental meaning they're listening to what's going on in their minds in terms of their self-talk. They're very aware of it. Physical awareness meaning physiologically, when they meet someone or they hear an idea or they're in a certain space or environment, they're paying attention to the physiological clues. What's happening? Do they get goosebumps? Or does their heart start racing? Do they get warm? Do they feel an energy drop or a boost in energy? And emotional meaning they're really paying attention to the mood too and how they feel in these certain situations and also when they have a certain idea. And they use this as their navigation system. This is like their internal GPS, and it's a strategy. It's not woo-woo and just kind of chalked up to intuition. It's science, and they consider intuition to actually be their strategy. So if you think about this as a true system that informs their decision-making, they do this enough and it becomes more accurate and efficient over time, like a well-oiled machine. This rule I've been schooled on over the last few years because historically I've been a really analytical person. And if someone were to say to me, what's your gut say, Amy Jo, when I was trying to make a decision or determine a direction to go in, I would say back to them, what do you mean? Should we get out a magic 8-ball and see what that says? I really didn't have very much understanding of what intuition meant. And I thought of it as kind of woo-woo, as something that's not really tangible. And now realize there's a huge advantage, of course, to being able to have this GPS system, because a lot of situations that I've gotten myself into in the past has been not knowing when to ease up versus push on the gas. If we have a better understanding of when to push through versus ease up and let things happen, then things tend to work out a little smoother and life is a little easier, I've found. So back to your idea. When you first thought of this idea, and as you think about it now, what happens? How do you feel physically, emotionally, mentally? Listen to the self-talk. Did you say to yourself, oh, you can't do this. Why would you even consider it? Or did you say, absolutely, I need to do this. I'm just scared. Did your heart start racing? This is all data for you to use to inform your decision on whether or not you want to greenlight this why not now idea. And this takes practice, by the way. It isn't something where you just do it once and figure it out. It takes years of daily practice and implementation to kind of get that really efficient GPS system. Side note here, I just realized I've been saying GPS system, which is a bit of a redundancy because a global positioning system is a GPS, and so I'd be saying system. Just shooting from the hip here, so I had to at least add that disclaimer that I'm now aware that I've been saying that. It's like saying ATM machine. No, it's an ATM, but not an ATM machine, because that'd be like ATM machine. Okay, I digress. On to rule number 5. Renegade rule number 5. Renegades have a very strong operating system and belief system, and these two work in tandem. They understand why they do what they do, their belief system, and they have a higher objective, higher purpose that leads them and guides them. But they also have a very strong operating system in terms of how they manage and navigate their day. So meaning their time management. Morning rituals are usually very big. They toggle back and forth between these two. It's kind of like seeing the forest through the trees, but not losing track of the trees and kind of zooming in and out. These two, when working together, build a really strong strategy for navigating, your day. And the operating system is, the more tactical, literal system. Just as we have operating systems for our phones or for our computers, this is an operating system for how they navigate. The belief system is not necessarily a religion or any kind of higher purpose in terms of what it might sound like it means, but it's more of a purpose and understanding why you're doing what you're doing. The reason that's so important is because it's what sustains us. So if you look at that intersection where purpose, passion, and skill collide, that's where bliss resides. And I say this all the time, and I truly believe that you need all three to be happy and sustainable. And the reason is, for the longest time, I had the skill and the passion and was really missing that purpose. And the reason I know it's necessary is because it's hard to sustain the droughts and moments when you lose passion for a while, or maybe you aren't as confident in your skills. But that purpose gets us through those droughts, and it allows us to maintain what we're doing and keep going. Think about kind of the way you operate through your day, the literal daily steps you take to get from waking up in the morning to going to bed at night, what's involved. And then also think about why you're doing what you're doing. And these are the two systems that the Renegades toggle between back and forth all day, every day, that make for a really balanced strategy. To just kind of wrap everything up, what I've learned about these 5 Renegade rules is they're a daily practice. And it's not just about implementing and applying these rules to one idea. It's really a mentality, and using this as a system, as a tool set of how to literally get from idea to action, whether it's something really small in your day or it's something really big in your life. And so it takes that daily practice, and it starts to become something that you just do without even thinking about it. Okay, the 5 Renegade rules. To recap, number 1, what's the worst thing that can happen? Number 2, don't give yourself an out. Number 3, leverage adversity. 4, mental, physical, and emotional awareness. And number 5, having strong operating and belief systems. And as a reminder, I have a cheat sheet available for you if you want a list, a downloadable PDF of these 5 Renegade rules. Just head to amyjomartin.com, sign up for the newsletter, and I will email you a PDF that you can use as a cheat sheet. As always, I'm looking for feedback. This was just me shooting from the hip today, sharing what I've learned and what I've found useful. So let me know what you think. Is this type of format helpful? Do you like it? Do you want me to just go back to interviewing renegades for every episode? Or do you want to see or listen to some more episodes kind of like this, but diving deeper? Open to feedback. Go to amyjomartin.com/survey, and that's exactly the place where you can offer up some of this feedback. Also, why not now at amyjomartin.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the show. Hit me up on social media to let me know what you think. I'm at Amy Jo Martin on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And I want to hear your Why Not Now moments so I can share them on the show. Just send me a note to whynotnow at amyjomartin.com. For show notes and other offers, you can visit amyjomartin.com/whynotnow. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for my email newsletter for exclusive content and announcements. A big thanks to Rock Salt Music for all of the tunes by the talented John Coggins. And of course, a hat tip to Richard Brewer for editing and producing the show. I'll see you next time, and until then, why not now?